Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. It is a very wonderful Hump Day Tuesday. It's also Fed Wednesday. Sorry, not Tuesday. Wednesday. So yeah, it is also Fed Wednesday. And yeah, here we go. Gonna get the Fed decision, last one of the year. I believe last I had looked at the CME Fed Watch tool, it had been basically another quarter point rate drop. Yep, December, expect another quarter point drop. I mean, it's 98.8%, so expect that. So therefore, I'll still get out the midday kind of update, but market's gonna definitely change based on however it trades this afternoon when the market gets that announcement. So doesn't mean the market will go bullish on a quarter point cut. Doesn't mean the market will go bullish if they decide not to do anything. It's just market's going to react however it wants to react. As for what's going on today so far, nice little gap down, kind of hang out there, start the day, and then ran bullish. It's currently up about 1/3% there on the SPY. Currently, the Qs are up 0.1%. A little bit more of a gap down, bearish start to the day there on the Qs, but ran pretty bullish after that first 5 minutes. All right, looking okay. And the IWM, which has kind of gotten smoked, especially yesterday here recently. A nice little gap up, pull back there in the first hour, trying to base and push higher. Currently up 0.5%. That's about where it gapped up to anyways. The DIA, nice bullish start to the day. First hour and a half, nice trade higher. Currently up 0.5%. Be curious to see how UNH is doing. RSP currently up 0.2%. Yeah, I mean, it's more pushing a little bit higher. It kind of had a base yesterday afternoon, and then kind of went sideways after a little bit of a bounce there into the close. Kind of also trying to base as well. So interesting looking at the RSP. Not really having a whole lot of strength, but wouldn't be shocked if it went higher. Yeah, so we do know the RSP has, just crazy amount of not selling, not having crazy days of selling, but just like every day, just methodically just selling down a little bit and a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Now we're starting to get into some of these bigger air pockets on the market, or here at least on the RSP, and bigger air pockets, man, it has started to get the bigger drops, and that's why it's usually pretty good when you get these pullbacks, on these kind of extensions to go bullish, because even if it starts to slip, it's usually a slow process, and so it's easy to kind of eyeball it and even see that, okay, we're continuing to slip through. But once you start to slip through far enough, then it starts to accelerate, and that's kind of what we've been doing here recently. It's kind of an interesting spot. This is the last spot here that we did have back on November 19th until we get to the 100 moving average. And we're trying to base there, see if it happens. DIA bouncing off the 50 moving average, looking. It wants to push higher. Okay, IWM also trying to bounce off its 50 moving average. Okay, Qs, nice little sidestep here so far. Okay, all right. SPY looking pretty good here on the SPY. Like, it wants to go higher. Look at this flat top up here, man. Just crazy flatness. Yeah, not too often you see that on the SP 500. But all right. VIX pulling back a little bit. Market's a little bit bullish start today. Let's see how it ends. DXY dollar pushing a little bit higher. Looks like all we got was a flag pattern over the past couple days. Okay. Gold pulling back a little bit more. Man, this thing just does not want to break down. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of a breakdown by the end of the day, but it's holding tough. 10-year yield hanging in there. As far as, I'm going to check these because it is yield day, right? Pushing a little bit lower there on the 2-year. As far as the 30-year, bouncing a little bit. So we're seeing a little bit more of the better yield performance in the longer term of the yield curve. Okay. 10-2 inversion continuing to push higher, mostly because the 10 years not doing anything, the 2 years dropping. So, okay. HYG. Ooh, man, bonds got wrecked. I'm wow, I haven't paid attention to bonds yet today. They got wrecked. That is a massive breakdown. Below the 100. Yeah, that is a brutal. That breakdown we had late last week, Thursday, Friday, was the beginning to something great. Nice little continuation there on the LQD as well. Nice little pennant that happened here over the past, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and then obviously getting that breakdown again today. Did they pay dividend today? 39-cent dividend. They are currently down 44. So 5% of the so far negative movement, or not 5%, sorry, 5 pennies of the so far negative movement is, you can say, actual bearishness because they paid that dividend. They got that dividend gap, which, where did they open at? Opened at 108.36. Where did they close yesterday? 108.87, 39. That'd be 148. 108.48 should have opened that. So obviously we're an yeah, I mean, we should have opened around 148, 108.48, but we opened at so about 12% or 12 cents more on a gap down. That is probably the part that's attributed to yields, right? So 12 cents of that is probably attributed to the yield performance. 39 cents of that gap down is attributed basically to that dividend payment or that dividend announcement. So there you go. Same kind of deal here with the TLT. Paid a 35-cent dividend and they gap down pretty good amount. Let's see. They closed yesterday. They paid 55 cents, 35 cents. They opened at 90.64, 35. So 90.29 basically. 90.29 is where they should have opened. They opened at 89.97. So about 32 cents there of an additional gap down. That's kind of brutal. There you go. Anyways, just having to back into some math there. Anyways, yeah, we're not seeing good price action on the bonds. If you adjust the data for dividends, it's not as bad. But yeah, I mean, the actual price action, you're starting to get into some real contentious spots here. I mean, we got a pretty good zone here between basically about where it's at now down to about 87, where it might just be choppy all through here. You might get like a 1 day little drop down to this low, 1 or 2 day drop down to this low, but you might get some more chop there. But then you're gonna have another pretty good pocket here between like 87 to 83 and a third. Anyways, I'd be looking for that. Be ready for any kind of game plans on breakdowns right there. All right, as far as sector rotation for the day, tech is doing very nicely. Interesting. Okay, because the Qs have kind of been, for the most part, underperforming. So that means discretionaries and communications are going to be underperforming pretty good. Yep. Healthcare outperforming a little bit there. Financials, kind of in line with the market there. Industrials kind of in line with the market there. Materials underperforming. Utilities underperforming. Oh, communications is in line with the market. I just didn't even see it. It's kind of hidden in there. And then you got utilities, discretionaries underperforming, real estate, energies, and staples at the lower end of the day. As far as discretionaries got hit early on right there. So as far as intraday price action, discretionary is actually climbing back a little bit as far as the intraday price action goes. So they get hit pretty good on the open. Healthcare, a little bit outperformance there. Real estate, tech kind of in line with the market there. You got staples, financials, industrials, energies, materials, utilities, all underperforming. Communications kind of the lower end of the intraday price performance. So you got discretionaries that get hit with a pretty good gap down, quick trade lower on the open. And then you got communications that didn't gap down as much, but they got hit on the open, trading, selling down. Tech did a little bit as well, but not as bad as communications. So that's why you get a little bit of underperformance there on the Qs. Nothing crazy though.